you is you had a great story happen recently about inclusivity and diversity in press. And I'm a white male, and I commended you completely on that. But
Thanks.
most people, when that article dropped, it was headlines that were completely taking you out of context. Like she wants only no white men at like press junket, which is not what you were saying. And people need to read the articles to actually find out the context of what you were saying.
Yeah.
But as an actor, when you have to say something like that, do you worry about how things get twisted? And for audiences who only do read headlines, can you clarify what you were saying? 'Cause I think it's awesome what you're doing, and I hope that more actors do it.
I mean, it's hard for me to comment on that because I don't know what the headlines were or what was said or what I said or what people think that I said. All that I know is like, what I'm looking for is to bring more seats up to the table.
Yep.
No one's getting their chair taken away. There's not less seats at the table. There's just more seats at the table.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love that you're doing that, and please, I hope every actor sees what you're doing and does it more because we need more diversity.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Completely agree.
We need more diversity, says the stuttering simp. That guy is so embarrassing that it actually causes me physical discomfort. It makes my skin crawl. My entire being, my entire channel, everything that I've ever done is the antithesis to that guy and everything that he believes. I have never once thought that it would be a good idea to announce to somebody that I'm a white male. I'm a white male. There's just something deeply wrong with these people. And unfortunately, that is not an outlier. That person was hired to do that job, to do an interview, to promote the movie. Understand, that's not like a leaked therapy session. That is a person doing a job, interviewing Brie Larson to promote Captain Marvel. And people wonder, why is the system so broken? You are hiring mentally ill, degenerate, weird, creepy, deranged male feminists who have no ability to be professional, no concept or appreciation or respect for what they're doing or their job or their role in an interview. See, when I'm watching an interview, I don't give a shit what the political beliefs are of the person doing the interview. I want information from the person. I watched an interview with Doug Bowser of Nintendo. Do you think I give a shit what the interviewer's political beliefs are? I want to know information about the Switch 2 or upcoming information. That is why people tune into interviews. That is supposed to be a piece of promotional material, and these people are so deeply narcissistic and delusional and up their own ass that they think it's about them. I think what you're doing is brave and stunning and beautiful. No, it's not. It is repellent. And that type of narcissism, eventually it has led to where we are today, where people are losing interest. They are tuning out. Marvel and Disney and all these other corporations are losing billions of dollars because these corporations and these media outlets are filled with people like that. Men and women who are that pathetic. And that's an unfortunate reality, but it is what it is, and we're here to talk about the Marvels, ladies and gentlemen. But again, I want to talk about Captain Marvel for just a brief second, because a couple years ago, I did a video called Captain Marvel versus Alita Battle Angel. What do audiences want? And in the video, I answer the question, what do audiences want? Do they want the girl bossification, toxic feminism of Captain Marvel? I'm going to hurt men who try to hit on me. I'm going to steal their stuff. I'm going to be a strong and independent woman who don't need no man. Or do we want the aesthetically brilliant, source material accurate, amazing Alita Battle Angel that tells a romantic story, a story about somebody becoming more powerful and coming into their own? I think that people want more Alita Battle Angel, and time has proven me correct, because even Disney isn't giving Captain Marvel a second movie. Now it's the Marvels. It's a collaboration because they have no faith in the character. Now I want to show you what the opening weekend numbers domestically were for the Marvels. They're bad. Like, really bad. Like, shockingly bad. Now, I admit, if the numbers weren't that bad, I would come before you and I would lambast all of the YouTubers using it for clickbait. Saying, oh, that's bullshit. They're just using this to inflate their numbers. It's really not that bad. I want you to take a look at this. So, opening night, Friday, $21.5 million. Right? That's Friday. Saturday, $15 million. So we're up to 36. Then Sunday, $10 million. This is a catastrophe. We're at 47 million opening weekend. That was the low end estimate. That was the low end estimate for the Marvels. Now, I understand that people don't like Brie Larson. They don't like the character of Captain Marvel. But even still, this is a Marvel franchise, right? It's still supposed to bring in billions of dollars, right? Do you want to know what Captain Marvel did? Do you want to know what it did in its opening weekend? I'll tell you. Captain Marvel, in its opening weekend, in 2019, did $153 million. $153 million. Yeah, it's no joke. That's a lot of money. In the opening, it nearly made back its budget. Now, of course, you've got the advertising costs, which were out the wazoo. But the reality is that Captain Marvel actually made a pretty impressive amount of money. I didn't think that it would hit $1 billion because the movie was so bad and there was that thing about empty theaters and, the bad publicity for the movie, the bad PR. But the reality is that it didn't generate a lot of money. But you compare that, this is a catastrophe for Disney. This is the beginning of the end. When you're doing 47 million opening weekend for what should be your biggest movie, remember, you have to keep this in mind. Captain Marvel was supposed to leave the Avengers. She was supposed to replace Tony Stark. And the movies are doing so bad that it's, according to this, the lowest opening ever for a Disney MCU movie. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not just here to rag on this particular franchise because I've stopped caring. They don't care. Why should I care? I'm only doing this to record it for history so that maybe creators in the future can understand. The way that Marvel and Disney have been going about creating their art, quote unquote, which is just regurgitated corporate crap, it's wrong. There's no originality, there's no soul, there's no substance to any of it. And the audience eventually has lost interest because the only thing keeping the MCU afloat was not even the main characters like Tony Stark, and you had you had Chris Evans, Captain America. No, the thing that kept people coming back was that the story was cohesive. That it all sort of fit together and it made sense in a way. And people could follow along. But now it's a woke, convoluted, just tentacle monster. All these little tendrils everywhere. And unfortunately, people can't pay attention. They can't keep track. And they don't want to because the material isn't good enough to. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to come to Rotten Tomatoes for a second. I wanted to point out something. If ever there was any doubt that Rotten Tomatoes is a bought and paid for show website for corporations, you need look no further than this score right here. The Marvels is sitting at a 62% on the Tomato Meter and an 84% on the audience score. This is a lie. Now, I'm sure that they padded the numbers to generate these scores, and it actually is 84 for verified ratings. And I'm sure that it is 62%. But look at how insidious they are. Here's what they do. So to get to that 62%, they go all critics. So this is not just top critics, which would put it at a 43%. This is all critics. So they choose this one. Then over here for the audience score, they choose verified audience. This is the first one. Now, you see how these are switched? Verified audience and top critics, these are the same thing. These are the same thing. Verified, top critics. Top critics are the ones that are verified. All critics are not verified. They're just all of them. And they pick the number that they want and put it up there to try to pad the narrative. Oh, it's a 62%. Now, I have trouble even believing that it's a 73, but this is the reality. If you reverse what they did there, wow, these numbers don't look so good. Huh. But that's how they do it. They don't do it one for one. They don't do it all critics, all audience, top critics, verified audience. No, they don't do that. They do whatever they have to do to make their corporate overlords happy, and it's insidious and it's disgusting. And all of it is to create a narrative that we know is not true. There's no amount of gerrymandering these numbers that are going to make people forget that this is the lowest box office numbers for an MCU Disney movie. And by the way, I know that some people will cope with, well, this is just right-wingers being mad that a strong, independent woman is being reflected on screen. They're racist. They're racist. Moist Critical, who is an extremely left-wing content creator, Moist Critical reviewed the Marvels. Yeah, he did. Moist Critical reviewed the Marvels. As a left-wing content creator, what do you think his review is? What do you think he gave the Marvels? On his Moist meter, he gave it a 25%. So we're talking a guy. We're talking a guy that collabs with Hassan Piker and stuff. Let me see if I can't actually find the moment just for. Oh, come on.
Successfully gets across the weight of it, and that's through.
Now that NFL Sunday Ticket is only on YouTube and YouTube TV, you can sign up in minutes. No 2-year
emotional scene with that anymore. It's like, oh, okay. New here. But this movie just ruined it. They didn't let her do anything, develop her, or even try, and it's something that got fucking slapped into this movie. And I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with Nick Fury going forward. Maybe they'll try and explain away his behavior here as him being some kind of variant from an alternate universe or something that got fucking slapped into this movie. Because I don't know what the fuck their plan is. They turned him into comic relief, purely just comic relief and nothing else, which is such a wild decision. Anyway, plugging the Marvels into the Moist meter, I'm going to have to give it like a 25%. It is the messiest MCU movie that has been made.
That is a very generous way to put it. It's messy. No, it's awful. It's shit. It's diarrhea coming out of an anus. The anus being the corporate pipeline that is Disney. So when Moist Critical is calling your movie 25%, which is abysmal, that lets you know that you have messed up in incalculable ways. Because somebody like me, I tend to be more critical of the stuff than somebody, ironically, like critical. Because when I look at this, I look at the political message, and if it's repellent and infecting and saturating every aspect of the movie, I look at it and say, well, okay, this is really quite awful. Most Critical is more receptive to that poisonous left-wing ideology, so he would be somebody that would be willing to let a lot of things go that I wouldn't. And even he's giving it a 25%. I mean, goddamn, that is savage. 25%. So it just goes to show that Disney has lost its way. Marvel has lost its way. Kevin Feige, they talk about him, maybe he's going to come over to Star Wars or... No, nothing is going to save these franchises. They're done. They have reached their peak. And there's nothing that's going to bring them back because the company cannot take on any more dead weight from these woke imbeciles. These people, like at the beginning of this video, that are only there for their ego and themselves and their delusion and their politics and their message, and I'm going to save the world. They're only there for that. Meanwhile, good movies, competently told stories, great female characters, they all take a back seat. And they all get damaged in the process. And it's an unfortunate reality, but there it is. The movie didn't make a lot of money. There's no real public interest. And this, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, is something that continues to happen over and over and over again. And these companies will not learn. They refuse, despite fans telling them everything that they need to do. It's really, really quite simple. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's video. I was right in the end. All of the haters, all of the negative comments in my original Captain Marvel video, you can suck it. You were incorrect. You were incorrect, sir. I was correct. Time has proven me right. That movie was a pile of shit, and people don't want more of it. Not even Disney. Anyway, that'll do it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.